Time to throw out your pre-made taco seasoning pack and start making them yourself, because it's just too easy. Tacos used to be the simplest thing to make. You had a pre-made tortilla and you would just slap on a piece of meat and a little bit of salsa and you're good to go. But nowadays, making tacos is somewhat of an art form. You can't just show up and make a couple of tacos and expect everybody to be impressed. No. You gotta make the real deal. Just think about birria tacos and the Consomé and melting cheese and crispy crackling tortillas. People have come to expect that. But let me tell you, it's not that hard to make. I'm gonna show you that with a couple of fresh ingredients and a grill, you'll be able to make tacos to perfection at home. Very easily. First thing that I'm going to do is fire up my Monolith icon. It's a super handy small grill that's actually perfect for tabletop cooking, and especially if you want to feed a large crowd really fast. And nothing beats the flavor of charcoal, especially not when making tacos. I already told you this was going to be easy, but we're only going to do 4 things. And the first one that we're going to do is prepare our tortillas. To make a dough for the tortillas, very easy. You're going to start with 3 cups of all-purpose flour. Then you're going to add half a teaspoon of salt, 1 pack or 16 grams of baking powder, 1 cup of water, and finally I'm going to melt some butter and add 1/3 of a cup of butter to the dough. Just mix it up with a spoon and then knead it on the tabletop. Stick the dough in a bowl, cover it up, and set it on the tabletop for about 15 minutes. I realize and I recognize that some doughs are difficult to make, but the tortilla dough is the easiest dough you'll ever make. That and flatbread, it doesn't need to rise, it doesn't have to do anything, and if you use enough butter in it, it's just going to be soft and melty, it's not going to stick. It's basically the perfect dough. Probably misled you a little bit. I did the whole numbers thing and I forgot about the Consomé, but it only takes about 30 seconds in real time to do it. That means we're going to be able to do it in 10 seconds in this video, so there we go. First I'm going to take some leftover beef ribs and chop them up real fine. Put them in a pan, add some tomato puree to it and a little bit of the beef tallow fat. I'm going to heat it up in my Monolith icon, and once it's sizzling I'm going to add a high-end demi-glaze, which basically is a reduced form of a beef stock. And the Consomé is one of the most amazing things. Check this out. When the Consomé is done, tractor, Dutch. What I wanted to say is that when the Consomé is done, it's time to move on to the next things, and we're heading in a fast direction. And as we're going high speed here, I just might as well keep it going with some salsa, which in my opinion is one of the most important things you can have. And of course it starts with a beautiful pepper. I'm using a dry gallo pepper, I'm probably not pronouncing it right. It's the go-to pepper for me when I'm making salsa roja. And I'm going to dunk it in some hot water, and then I'm going to take some Roma tomatoes and put them on the barbecue to roast. Straight on the grill grates, just adding flavor to the tomato. About 6 is going to do the trick. Of course I'm also going to need garlic cloves. 2 will be more than enough for salsa roja. And I'm going to add 1 sweet onion. Cut it in half, put it on the grill grates. All I need is a little bit of char. I'm going to close the lid, give it a bit of time to char up, get that beautiful flavor onto the veggies. Salsa might just be one of the more important things, because if you're making a real salsa, it means you're probably not going to put on some crazy store-bought sauce like ketchup or something else that's even worse. Salsa, sauce, homemade. Once the tomatoes, onions and garlic are roasted, put them in a blender, add the soaked peppers, a little bit of the soaking water, salt, pepper, then blend it up until you have a delicious salsa. And of course we'll have to do a taste test to make sure that it tastes absolutely perfect. Oh, now that is a sauce. I'm going to make one more version of a salsa, and that's called the Salsa Verde, a green salsa, and that's why I'm using green tomatoes. You can also use tomatillos, but make sure you put on some jalapenos. 2 will be enough. Don't forget the garlic, of course. Now let that roast for a little bit. When the ingredients are roasted, they're going to go into the blender. I'm going to add a little bit of pepper, a little bit of dried ocean water, but instead of adding the juice of the soaked pepper, I'm going to add a little bit of lemon juice. Juice of half a lemon will be more than enough. And if you feel that this is getting to a little bit too much acidity, you can always add a pinch of sugar to sweeten things back up again. I think we just passed the 15 minutes on the tortilla, so there we go. Let's roll them out. First, I'm just gonna stretch them out in a long roll. And I kind of want small tortillas, so I'm just gonna stretch it out a little further than I normally would for a bigger tortilla. Spread it out, and then just cut it up into bowls, a little smaller than the golf-sized bowls. Form your hand into like a little cone and start rolling the bowls. And the rounder they are, the easier they are to shape into a round form. There we go. And I'm just, with my fingers, slightly going to press them, spread it out. These actually might be a little bit too small, but we'll see once we start rolling them out. And to store these, I'm just gonna put them in a little bit of aluminum foil. I'm gonna put them in like that, so they're ready to go once I need them for the barbecue, and then I'm just gonna fold it up like so. This way they won't dry out. And I'm gonna shape another one, put it on top, and do the exact same thing. Now, of course, we gotta have some protein, and protein means we're gonna have steak. Yeah, boys. Of course, I chose nothing but the best for tacos, and that means flap meat. Flap meat steak is basically the perfect steak. It's got great structure, it's got a lot of flavor, and it's got a lot of intramuscular fat, which means it's going to be juicy as can be. Mine has a little bit of silver skin still on the outside, which I'm going to remove. This is not going to be cooked for the looks, but this is going to be cooked for flavor. For seasoning, I'm going to use the PITMASTERX Texas seasoning. It's perfect for this style of cook. We got loads of flavors already in the barbecue, so all we need is a little bit of salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder. Of course, nothing but the best flavor-wise for our steak. I'm super focused on creating flavor in this cook, and that's why I've got a little charcoal grill on my desk, just doing all the work. Now there's a little bit of charcoal left and things are slowing down a little bit in the barbecue, and that means I can easily just put my steak on the grill and let it slowly cook. And this being a ceramic barbecue, it means that we get a little bit of heat from below, but we're also gonna get radiation heat from above, from the lid. It's actually hot. And that's why if you close it, it's going to encapsulate the heat, it's going to radiate the steak from all sides, and that is going to improve the tenderness because it's going to cook the inside fast. And at the same time, a little bit of the fat is going to twirl down into the charcoal, come up again, and smoke the meat while it's cooking. Flap meat's actually better cooked a little further. Normally I would cook a steak to 52 degrees Celsius core temperature, but now I want to cook it to 56. And that's why I'm using a little thermometer. This is my chef temp, and it will always tell me what temperature I'm at. I'm currently at 56, right on the dot. Just look at that beautiful Maillard effect that we got from slow searing that steak. It is absolutely perfect. Slow sears are one of the best ways to get a good crust. But this is not the time to start relaxing and kick back. You know, I'm going to show you what we need to do now. I'm just going to release the hinge here at the back of the barbecue. Now I can take off the lid, and I know that looks a little bit crazy for a ceramic barbecue, but it's super awesome because I can replace it with this. A plancha. So while the steak is resting, the plancha can come up to temperature. How do you know if your plancha is hot enough? Well, there's fire shooting out of the middle and there's a little bit of smoke coming off of it. Now I've got a little oil standby that I can use to just season it and get it to be non-stick. And so I can really start baking my tortillas now. And it's super easy to do. You just flip them on, leave them on for about a minute, flip it to do the other side. And just like with pancakes, you're probably gonna burn the first one, like I did. I'm just reheating the consommé here, but did you know that actually the word taco comes from the piece of paper that people used to put around gunpowder and then take into mines? And eating tacos has been around before the Spanish Inquisition, so tacos are pretty old. It's not just the latest trend. Now, of course, I also need to cut the steak. And I actually cut it up into large pieces so I can then cut it against the grain. Cutting it against the grain is the ultimate trick to get that tender experience of the beef. I gotta have bite-sized pieces of beef though. Can't have these big chunks falling out. And the consommé is boiling. Don't tell anyone. Oh yeah, consommé is done. Let's take it off and assemble the tacos. I told you it wasn't that hard to make a delicious taco and completely homemade. So no more need for packaging or like pre-made things. All made at home. What more can you want? These things are delicious. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, then leave us a big thumbs up and a comment down below. See you guys in the next one, while I enjoy these delicious tacos. And don't forget to check out today's sponsor. Monolith really came up with a great idea for this little plancha. Works like a dream. See you guys in the next one.